Grüezi, hello, servus, and g'day. Welcome to Tollescope once again. I'm going to do quite a comprehensive drawing of Hochwacht from a photograph this week. I hope you enjoy. I'll let that video run and then catch up with you afterwards. Hochwacht means quite literally high watch, and our building is quite close to the top of a mountain in Switzerland here, and was built as a restaurant for the locals to enjoy. And before that, it was a place where the high watchers would stand and keep watch over St. Gallen, making sure that it was free from invaders, or if the invaders came, then they would sound the alarm. And so, we'll start with Hochwacht, and I will show you what the page looks like when you are drawing with the vanishing points right off the page there. So back to Hochwacht. And I'm going to dim this down and use this as a drawing exercise. So here's what I would be doing if I was to be drawing this directly, if I was standing there in front of the building itself. Loose perspective lines, X, Y, and Z lines. And I'd rough these in on a blank page in line with how it appears as I'm standing in front of the building. So this clearly being an exercise to practice perspective drawing and to get a sense of your X, Y, and Z points. They are very clearly not on the page. The vanishing points, as with any drawing in reality, I imagine, and then just to show you once again how that would look and just how far the vanishing points disappear. Now I just drew those vanishing points there, interestingly enough, and then drew the horizontal line later, and it all matched up perfectly as a horizontal line. So the technique works. You need to keep an eye on those X, Y, and Z points, imagining where they would be completely off the page. So always keeping that in mind, I'm going in there as if I was drawing through a pane of glass. I often tell students or anybody I'm helping to draw, imagine that your sketchbook is a pane of glass and that you're actually looking through that and interpreting what is a three-dimensional object, in this case Hochwacht, the building. Imagine that this three-dimensional object is something that you are looking through a pane of glass at. So you can almost imagine tracing over the three-dimensional object and interpreting that, reinterpreting that onto a two-dimensional surface. And that's essentially what drawing is. So these oblique lines for the roof, I just dropped a few little dots in there to as a little placeholder for my vertical. And now going into some detail around that, because these angled roof lines actually cross through the perspective lines, and that's what makes them look like they're at an angle, as is the case here with these little roof support beams underneath. Now this is an interesting one, a bay window. Now there are edges here that go exactly 45 degrees across. Here's just a little reminder for you. X, Y and Z perspective lines. You can see it's still all in keeping. Now the bay window is an interesting subject in that the lines cross at 45 degrees around that corner of the building, which I'll get into in a moment. Again, I've dropped a little dotted line here to show my vertical, just as a reference point while I get that spire correct and top it off with its little wee point there. And some more detail. The arches taking form there, windows and details. And drawing this way, using this exercise of actually drawing over a photograph, can give you a little library of various different types of architecture and various different types of windows and styles for architecture and building furnishings, so to speak. And again, the deep set, old style, Jugendstil, Art Deco windows. And some details around here. And again into this bay window. Now, with this bay window, I'm just doing a little side note here to explain. This is our X, as you know, represented by that diagrammatic horizontal line. This is a top plan I'm doing in white here. So this whole area is that corner of the building. Now the front angled window, the largest one, I've drawn there, the angle, looking from the top. And so that's the box, the bay box. So the front angled window is 45 degrees. And the ones perpendicular to that on the very sides are also the other 45 degrees from our X and our Y perspective lines. So you might want to pause and just have a little study of that till it makes some sense to you. The rules are pretty simple, but it starts getting confusing when you're trying to work it out just looking at the building. But knowing those things and applying those rules will make it all the more easy for you to tackle little variations, anomalies to the XY foundation. So here I'm just outlining some foliage so I know where and where not to draw the building. And more detail of windows. And then right up into that corner again, those little support struts. So that's our top attic with the window shutters at the very top of the building there. And we live on the top floor, which is the next floor down from the attic. And more angled beam work. And using that old rule again, work around the drawing, even though it's from a photograph this time. It'll help keep you in the same style so that you don't get bogged down in any particular area. Keep the same style, the same line thickness throughout. And yes, I'm going to go into the detail of these little checkered squares along the veranda. Roughing, blocking, roughing. Once you've finalised your structure lines, then and only then can you go in for the detail. Scoot through this little checkered filigree detail along the veranda. Finishing up with the veranda there, and now this is interesting, a stray angle from the y-axis, which runs parallel to the other side of the veranda. And some brickwork, some verticals, z-axis, that'll be on the x-axis, the top horizontal, some foliage. Now, grass and nature doesn't look like it belongs in the realm of the fundamentals of X, Y, and Z vanishing points. But if you look at a forest of trees from below, then you'll see that all the verticals do indeed disappear off up into the sky on their trajectory towards a Z, the vanishing point. Or if you take a drone shot, for example, of rain or again a forest looking directly down, then you will see everything fan out towards you as it disappears away from you. But in this case, we're dealing with straight lines, architectural, human-made buildings, and lots of straight lines. You can also learn a lot by drawing buildings and architecture, like the keystones here above the windows, larger than the others, to help with the structural integrity of the whole building itself. And so there's Hochwacht as drawn from a photograph. Now I'm going to go back in again. So that was the building, and I'll just finish off some details here. And move into just shaping, just block shapes for the surrounding foliage, because I want the accent on this drawing to be about Hochwacht, the building itself. So there's our finished drawing, and thanks for watching this one. And so, a more comprehensive version of a 3-point perspective. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments. Please subscribe, and if you have anything you'd like me to draw, then please let me know. I read the comments, and I look forward to hearing from you. So until next time, thanks a lot, and cheers.